our first performer coming to the stage has performed at Giggles and Laughs Comedy Stop. He's also known as Orange County's favorite octogenarian. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Don Olsen.
Oh, it's so nice to see you. You're probably wondering just what is an 88-year-old guy doing up here in stand-up comedy? Yeah, that's a pretty darn good question. You know, my bucket list is down to just 2 items: stand-up comedy and bungee jumping. Now, the more I thought about bungee jumping, it's kind of crazy. You know, you jump off a 10-story building tied to a rubber band, betting the farm that it won't break when you hit bottom. Now, when I thought about that, I realized that when I came into this planet, when I was born, I came in because of a broken rubber. Now, I'm not going to go out the same way I came in here. And I just got some great news from the federal government today. 2 more payments. And my student loans all paid off. But I'm really excited about this year of 2023 because it is the 61st wedding anniversary of me and my beautiful wife, Jody. Now, we met when we were seniors in college, and it took me about a month and a half to finally get on her dance card, but I finally got a date. We went to this wonderful restaurant in Los Angeles, and then to the LR Philharmonic. But it was one of those nights that you would just say was magic. We went out the next night, the next night, the next night. We went out for 3 straight weeks. At that point, I drove her up to the lake in my convertible, and I said, Jody, I know I'm not your first love, but I want to be your last. And I want to marry you not just to live with you, but I want to marry you because I can't live without you. And I said, will you marry me? And she said, yes! Oh, I'm sure hoping that's her, yes indeed. Well, now for the benefit of all you millennials, the Generation X and Y and Z and all the rest of that, when we got married and then we slept together. Now, I was not on the rules committee at that time, but that's the way it was. In fact, I took our wedding license with us because I wasn't sure that we could get into a hotel unless you proved that you were married. You know what I mean? See, we came before the sexual revolution. Heck, we were before the industrial revolution. Being married 61 years, a lot of people ask me, they say, is there a secret to the success of a long marriage? And I usually say something like, well, I'll just give you a tip. Separate bathrooms. So a lot of things made news in the last couple of weeks. Tattoos, those have become. I mean, when I was a kid, the only people that ever had tattoos were sailors that came in from the 7 seas. Now they're just getting more and more popular. In fact, even seniors are thinking about getting tattoos. Now, I'll tell you what, if you're a senior and you're seriously thinking about getting a tattoo, my advice is your name, address, and phone number so they can notify the next of kin. And Dolly Parton made some news this week. She just got her breasts insured for $1 million. Now, I'm not at liberty to tell you the name of the insurance company, but I can tell you what their advertising slogan is. You're in good hands. And Walmart just announced this week that they're going to add dental clinics to some of their stores. And you know Walmart, they always have a clever idea. They're going to have an express lane for people who have 12 teeth or less. Now, I don't know if you've noticed how words and phrases changed in their meaning over the years. For example, when I was going to college, if somebody said, "Boy, I got lucky last night," you had a pretty good idea what they were talking about. Today, at my age, when somebody says, "I got lucky," we're talking about finding your car in the parking lot. And when somebody in your high school or college days says, "Boy, I had an all-nighter," well, today, that means you didn't have to get up even once to go take a whiz. So now this is the time of year when you begin to get those cards and letters that say, "Save the date." Save the date for your high school or college reunion.
Oh, boy.
Now, if you're seriously thinking about going to your reunion, I have a word of advice. Don't. Because people change, the sands of time shift. Everything begins to kind of point to the center of the earth. Well, it's gravity, it's the law. Now, actually, they should call reunions a competition. Because it's a competition to see if anybody even remotely resembles what they used to look like when they were in school. Now, in my class, we went to the 50th graduating class of our college reunion. It was amazing. There was this one person that was really a looker in our day, and this person was at the reunion. Slightly graying hair, small mustache, pot belly, and that was the prom queen. Now, living in Newport and working in New York, which I did for so many years, meant you spent an awful lot of time on American Airlines. And you always wondered who you were going to be sitting next to on Friday night on the flight home, which is 5 hours and 10 minutes. And on this one Friday night, I'm sitting there, and the gentleman that comes in to sit next to me was the heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali. Now, we started talking boxing, and it was so much fun to listen to this guy weave the stories. Do you remember his famous lines of, "I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, and Joe Frazier, you ain't gonna get a piece of me"? He was talking about the wonderful old fight called the Thrilla in Manila. Anybody hear about that one? Wow. At about that point, the pilot came on the PA system and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have some turbulence ahead of us. Please fasten your seatbelts." So the stewardess came by just to make sure that everyone had fastened their seatbelts. Of course, everybody did except Ali. And she looked down to him and said, "Mr. Ali, would you please fasten your seatbelt?" And he said, "Superman don't need no seatbelt." She looked back at him and said, "Superman don't need no airplane either." Now, airline travel has gotten a little crazy in recent years. You know, people are now, they're a lot ruder. People get in fights on planes. People try to open the door at 37,000 feet. I knew this was going to happen sometime, but on a flight from New York to Los Angeles a couple of weeks ago, this couple, they didn't know each other. They got on the plane sitting in coach, row 38. They fell in love. I mean, they were all over each other in the middle of this flight. Now, what I'm going to tell you is that they made love right there in coach in row 38 while this plane is flying. People were aghast. When the plane landed in Los Angeles, the feds came aboard, they escorted them off the plane. But I'll tell you who I felt sorry for. It was the guy in the middle seat. Now, can you imagine? I don't know if you have friends who've tried online dating or not, but some of our old boys in their 70s and 80s who have lost a spouse are now in the position where they're beginning to date again. And some of our friends were telling us about their experience. And they said, no matter what, there's a website in online dating for you. No matter how kinky you are, there is a website. Now, even if you're a transvestite truck driver from Lithuania who's a vegan with a foot fetish, there's a website for you. I said, they even have a website for guys who have a small package. You know what I'm talking about? It's called Dinky Winky. So he said, I tried eHarmony and talk about a profile. That profile sheet is 155 questions. And right up front they say, what's your sexual preference? Well, I said, women, girls, ladies. You can imagine how surprised I was when I found out that your sexual preference had 17 options. So I went to Christian Mingle. I thought that would be pretty safe, he said. And I struck it up with this young lady. It was going great. And then all of a sudden, she just dropped me. I couldn't find her. And so I asked, what's that mean? What's up when you just get dropped with somebody you're really getting a nice relationship built? And he said, oh, you've been ghosted. And I said, well, this was on Christian Mingle. He said, well, you've been holy ghosted. That's what's happening to you. So he went to Match.com and got some hits and looked at some pictures of some ladies and again struck up some conversation and texted back and forth. And he said, oh, I met this one gal, Raquel. Wow, her picture looks great. So I said, Raquel, let's go out to dinner next Saturday night. And she said, well, you see, I live in a gated community. And I said, well, I'm thinking Big Canyon, Newport Coast. Well, I was half right. She's in the Orange County Jail. Now, if you are a gentleman in your 70s who's looking to date a lady in her late 70s or early 80s, they have an idea of what you're up to. Meaning, you're looking for somebody to take care of you that's got some money. So there's a label for that, and it's called, you're looking for a nurse with a purse. If you're a younger lady and you're dating an older guy, and he's older and not in great shape, there is also a label for that. It's called bedpanning for gold. I got a call from my grandson Eric here a few months ago. He just graduated from Laguna Beach High School. And he said, Pops, I need to ask you a couple of questions about your love life. And I said, really? He said, yeah, I'm taking sociology, and this quarter we're doing human sexuality, and we're doing a survey of grandparents to see how active they are. And I said, what are you talking about? He says, we're trying to find out how often they have sex. And I said, boy, they sure changed the curriculum since I went to high school. So I said, let's see here now, Eric. Your mother your mother, your grandmother, pardon me, your grandmother, that beautiful lady sitting over there, known as Cammy. Well, Cammy and Pops, we have sex almost every night. And he said, holy cow, you're going to blow the lid off this survey. We're talking to old folks that don't go once a year. Maybe. And I said, now listen to me carefully, Eric. I said, your grandmother and I almost have sex on Monday night. We almost have sex on Tuesday night. And we almost have sex on Wednesday night. Now, George Burns probably said it best when he said, making love at our age is like trying to shoot pool with a rope. The deal with senior sex is that when you are reaching that point where you're going to reach middle C, high C, you know what I'm talking about here? When you're having sex, you don't know whether you're having an orgasm, a heart attack, or a stroke. One of them. Viagra has been helping old guys like us for many, many years. And they finally figured out just what it is that Viagra and Disneyland have in common. You gotta wait a long time for a 1-minute thrill ride. Ah, yes, Captain Viagra, that little blue pill that promises great things to come. Almost Monday night, almost Tuesday night, and almost Wednesday night. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Going for Don Olsen.